Hello, I am Bryson Hedrick. This is my presentation on time travel and differential geometry. Time travel is a concept throughout human history, which in particular became popular in 1895 with H.G. Wells' publishing of The Time Machine. In his scientific romance, he briefly mentions of time has a of time that has a fourth dimension, predating Einstein's theory of general and special relativity. Figure 00 is an illustration of a time traveler's path on the Gödel metric. With the knowledge of mathematics, physics, engineering, biology, and more, there is a possibility of time travel. First, I will discuss the relations of space-time to differential geometry equations mentioned throughout the course. Next, I will talk about the metrics and tensors that relate to time travel and differential geometry. Finally, I will discuss about how time travel portrayed in other cultures since the concept has existed before 1895 and why folklore may lead to the answer. There's a possibility that the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, DARPA, the Department of Defense, DoD, and various other government and non-government entities are experimenting with time travel and investigating the paranormal as a guideline to the ability. We have discussed the metric forms and tensors during class, which will be most of the presentation. Space-time connects all of the topics we covered in differential geometry. The basis that we started with was tangent, normal, and binormal frames, which leads into curvature and torsion. The types of curvature were fundamental for understanding surfaces along with the shape operator, first fundamental form, and second fundamental form. These all would be used to describe the fourth dimension of space-time, which is not intuitive. In addition, since coordinates become much harder to define in higher dimensions, geodesic curvature could not be utilized, which led to the Euler-Lagrange equation, which is utilized in classical mechanics and derived by calculus of variations. A geodesic will occur when the geodesic curvature is equal to the curve's curvature minus the normal curvature. Also, Christoffel symbols are important for the understanding of space-time and metrics. The Euler-Lagrange equation is interesting in its application to geodesics. It uses the principle of least action. The principle of least action states that the principle of least action states that when a particle travels along a path, it will optimize the path of minimized resistance. Equation 1 is the differential form, and equation 2 is the integral form. In classical mechanics, the Brachistocene curve is a problem that you can read more about the mechanics of it. T is all of the kinetic energy of the system, and V is all the potential energy of the system. It would use K equals 1 half mv squared and use it for all the directions and mechanical devices, such as a spring attached to a pendulum. These are difficult physics problems that utilize differential equations. In figure 2, you can see the geodesic of a particle in curved space-time. Figure 3 is a reminder of geodesics on surfaces and how it is related to the metrics. The Gödel metric presents a solution to time travel. Gödel's exact solution to Einstein's field equations includes closed time-like curves CTCs that provide an opportunity for time travel. CTCs are interesting since a person can go into the past. However, the grandfather paradox of how a time traveler exists and exists and affects the past, present, and future is unknown. CTCs could exist with infinite cosmic strings since we already know cosmic strings exist. The aspect of the hypothetical universe different from the standard model and absolute time could not exist. This is one of the unrealistic factors to the physical world, along with the cylinder of infinite length and not having a fast enough rotation of form. These and other factors are why the Gödel metric would not be possible for time travel. Figure 3 shows a world line going through a CTC. CTCs are associated with other metrics. The Albuquerque or warp drive metric has appeared to have more of a possibility for time travel than the Gödel metric. It could create travel faster than light across galaxies. However, it would emit radiation and require a new source of yet undiscovered energy. When the hypothetical spaceship would stop, particles would go faster than the speed of light and it would emerge and destroy the spacecraft. In addition, it would destroy any object that it goes towards since it has so much energy. You could think almost of this similar to the Large Hadron Collider LHC, or a high energy accelerator in space that is not contained well, which could leak radiation and be unsafe for any passengers. X-rays and gamma rays would leak at least. How can scientists create a bubble that warps space and time as it travels? The anti-de Sitter metric is similar to the warp drive metric since it has CTC's properties. It can be a time machine between any 2 points a time-like curve is available. Also, the system for the time machine to work has 2-point masses with circular orbits. For Simon D. Dio and J. Richard Gott III's research. Their hypothetical time machine allows for it to work at any time since all of space-time has CTCs. Figure 5 shows the geometry of the anti-de Sitter metric and its geodesics. Figure 6 shows the time-like geodesics and anti-de Sitter metric space. Fadzuman, Amid, Bikash, Harika, and Debo Sarma mentioned in the conclusion to their paper, The Anti-de Sitter Space-Time as a Time Machine in July 2016, that anti-de Sitter space ADS, that it has the energy properties to create a CTC. Also, it has constant curvature. Fringe science is defined as being outside the orthodox of science. Similarly, pseudoscience attempts to convince others of something that can be bought and semi-religious. Although we want to find all the pseudoscience and fringe science and claim all as fake, the fringe science may actually have value to scientists, as it is people attempting to research topics harder to quantify. Astrology is a field that used to be believed as a science in the Middle Ages and became a pseudoscience. Since there is a moral ambiguity, it is what is truly defined as a science or pseudoscience in the age of the internet and subjective news outlets that report findings. It is more difficult to distinguish the fiction from the science fiction writings. The paranormal, supernatural, and folklore are unaccepted by science, yet the paranormal, supernatural, and folklore are unaccepted by science, yet have stories which sound similar to it occurring. Physicist Eric W. Davis published two articles which are interesting in their relation to time travel. For the Air Force Research Laboratory in California, Dr. Davis published a study on teleportation. In addition, he wrote about the warp drive for the Defense Intelligence Agency, DIA, as a classified document. The warp drive document mentioned the Albuquerque metric and the use of tensors and metrics for a grand unification theory, GUT. He mentions how a warp drive spaceship could be created to travel across space faster than humans can travel now. Although it is speculative the energy source could exist. In the teleportation or portal study, the Lorentzian metric is mentioned first. At the conclusion of the paper, he says the negative energy for a wormhole could be created in a laboratory by exploring the Casimir effect, moving mirror, optically squeezed laser light, and gravitationally squeezed vacuum energy. Now, we have to ask if the Native Americans and other Aboriginal peoples' belief in little people may actually have truth. Is it possible that some of the supernatural places around the world of the United States have time travel portals and teleportation by beings from an ethereal plane, yet unseen to humans' distracted perception? Do governments already have the technology to time travel hidden from the public? Has time travel, teleportation, space travel, without the effects of time dilation, invisibility, and more on the Earth existed? The truth is out there. Thank you for the time, and here are my references.